and then I'd probably start over.
Okay. All right. Starting over. Good morning. My name is Mike Bryan. I'm the Youth Engagement Manager for CyberUp. And my guest today joining me is Franz Payer, the CEO of Cyber Skyline. Welcome, Franz. Thank you for joining us today. And folks, we're here today to talk about what are the PowerUp Cyber Games and who can play. So the Cyber Games are a youth cybersecurity competition series that is made for middle school and high school students. And now I'm going to turn it over to Franz to talk about what is uniquely valuable about our gaming platform.
Hey, so thanks for being here, everyone. I'll go over quickly. Mike, I also believe I think there's a little bit of an echo on your mic.
Oh.
I think if you mute it, it should be good.
Okay.
Okay. So the CyberUp games, the platform for the games, I think is pretty unique and useful for students of all ages, especially for beginners. I think the number one thing that differentiates the platform from what you might see elsewhere is the fact that the style that we have built the content within the platform is meant for people to kind of self-learn and to improve themselves. So the challenges start from a very, very easy baseline level. You don't need any background in computer science or cybersecurity. You just need the ability to Google things. And when you solve those challenges, you are building the foundation to knowledge and proficiency within the field of cybersecurity. A lot of cybersecurity is about taking in new knowledge, because there's so many different technologies out there that it's important for you as an individual to be able to identify something you've never seen before, go from knowing nothing to doing your research online, being able to understand whatever this technology is and be able to react to it. And so that's what the platform is designed to do. You have very easy content that starts you off. Once you get to that content, you start learning those fundamentals, then the challenges get more difficult, and they use a lot of the concepts that you learned in the previous challenges, and you kind of work your way up to the point where over the course of multiple different games, multiple different seasons, you're able to start developing those skills naturally without a lot of assistance from other people. It really allows the individual to kind of drive their own path. In addition to that, there's also a practice gym that is available at all times. So you have the games, you have the competition, and alongside that, you have this practice environment where you're given labs with instructions on how do I go and solve all of these different problems. And that's even available during the competition. So, if you get stuck during the competition, you need to go back to the reference and learn, all right, how did I do this? That's available to you. And you're given feedback at every single point in time. Every single time you submit an answer, it's not like the SAT where you have to wait, weeks for your results to come back. When you type in your answer, you get immediate feedback. Did I get this right or wrong? And not only that, but you have multiple different attempts. If you got something wrong, you have some opportunity to go figure out, all right, what did I get wrong? How can I go and solve it? And so you're not waiting to get that feedback. If you got something wrong, immediately, and you can go fix it. And something that's fun about the games as well is that you have the ability to compete both as an individual or as a team. And so this is something where if you're very independent, you want to work on your own, you have the ability to do that. If you want to work with your friends and collaborate, a lot of times we see people with different backgrounds, different experiences, different skill sets. Those teams really help you learn by working together with other people. And when you're going through the different challenges, you don't get eliminated. You see this a lot in a lot of other competitions, a lot of other sports, where if you don't do well in the qualifiers, you get excluded and you can't do the rest of the competition, right? This is something where there's no exclusion. Even if you're a beginner and this is your first time and you don't have the best score, you get the exact same experience as everyone else. And so you get the benefit of learning from those other experiences that normally, if you got eliminated in semifinals or whatever it is, normally would have missed out on those other experiences. You're not in that situation here. If you are a beginner, you get the same experience, you get to learn the same things as everyone else. And in addition to that, you don't need a lot of different tools and resources to participate. A vast majority of the challenges are completely solvable through a Chromebook. We rely a lot on a lot of resources which you can go find online. You can use a lot of tools, a lot of things where you can do it directly within your browser. We have some challenges where you just, whatever like default tools you might have on your computer, like Notepad or Microsoft Excel or some equivalent to that, a lot of those tools that you already have on your device are pretty satisfactory for solving a lot of these challenges. And we introduce you to a new topic every single month. And so you don't get inundated. Cybersecurity is a pretty big field. You don't get inundated with, here are 20 different things for you to learn all in one shot. No, it's 1 month is a different topic, and you get to focus on that topic. You get to get your coverage of that topic and learn it. And then after that, you get to learn something new next month. And so you're learning a lot of different things, but it's not at a pace where it's not manageable. And so, we have a equal playing field where new content all the time. It's not where someone who's very good at one specific topic, they're able to take home the prize all the time. It's new topics all the time. It's meant for beginners and allow you to build upon your skills, and you don't get eliminated, right? So you're not in a situation where you feel like there are a lot of barriers. There's a lot of opportunities where we're giving you the practice challenges. You have free range to do whatever you want, and it's pretty open. Mike, I believe you're still muted.
Sorry, I lost my mouse. So thank you for that answer, Franz. Our mission at CyberUp is to cultivate the cybersecurity talent pipeline. So would you tell us a little bit about how participation in the cyber games can help students get jobs?
Sure. So the number one thing that employers are looking for from new employees is kind of the background and your skills. Now, it's difficult to have a lot of that big resume of everything that you've done when you've just come out of school. And so this is an experience where you're getting practical hands-on experiences that you can talk about during job interview. And you can use that to impress an employer that a lot of other people might not have, right? It's a good way to differentiate yourself from everyone else. In addition to that, I think security is a very big field. Like I mentioned before, there's so many different concepts and topics. It is very important for you as an individual, as a student, to build that pathway to get you to the right career, because not every single job requires you to know those 20, 30 different topics, right? Some of them are a lot more specialized. And so an experience like these competitions, like the CyberUp games, allows you to initially get that diverse experience of all those different skill sets and understand what you might like, what you might not like, what you're good at, what you're not good at, and help you kind of understand, okay, I am interested in a career that involves these couple of skill sets. Let me go research those careers. Oh, those careers require me to learn these other additional skills. Those skills are covered up in the games. And so it's really about building that pathway. By understanding your strengths and weaknesses and your interests, you're able to say, all right, I'm good at these things. I need to learn these things. And now I can take steps to accomplish that and work towards my career goals, right? Because otherwise, without having a system where you are building that pathway, you're kind of left in the dark, where you're wondering, all right, I'm interested in cybersecurity. What do I do? What do I learn? I'm sure if you go and Google, starting in cybersecurity, you're going to get a lot of different things. There's a lot of different resources out there, and you need guidance. You need to understand what you need to prioritize. And that's something where these types of games, they get you that initial exposure. You get that experience. At the end, you get a report that tells you exactly what your strengths and weaknesses are. You can even print out that report, and you can give that to employers and say, hey, these are the things I'm really good at. I think the unique experience of participating in something where you're getting practical hands-on skills, all of the challenges, they're meant to tie into real world tasks. They're not just, fun things. Here's a random challenge. No. These are things where all the things that you're experiencing are things that kind of lead to or are directly things and tasks that you might be doing on the job in the industry as a cyber professional. And so you're kind of getting that introduction without being inundated, and you're given that flexibility to plow your own path within that space, and it can be unique to you and to your interests. And I think that's really the power is giving students the ability to have that knowledge, because otherwise, they're kind of reliant on whatever existing systems might be in place. And right now, there aren't a lot of good existing systems for teaching cybersecurity in the school you know, most schools don't have a computer science program. And so if you are interested in cybersecurity, if this is something that you're passionate about, this is a career that you could be interested in, this is allowing you as a student or as a parent to help your child plot that pathway for themselves without having to rely on your school system providing those existing resources. This is empowering the individual to plot their career pathway.
Perfect. So we were speaking about the cybersecurity talent pipeline, and basically what is needed now to improve that are hundreds of thousands of people. Just in St. Louis alone, we have over 5,000 open jobs available in cybersecurity right now. There's a number of different pathways that a person can take to get into cybersecurity. Many will go the university route or college route and get a degree, kind of like what Franz did. There are also non-university pathways like apprenticeships, which is what CyberUp does for adults. We have an apprenticeship program, and that's helping close that talent gap, but it's still not enough. So we are always working to expand our apprenticeship program. We have the first cybersecurity registered apprenticeship program in Missouri and Illinois, and the third in the country. And we've been placing apprentices in entry-level cyber jobs ever since we got those designations. And then on the youth side of things, to get youth involved and to get them into the career path, we have our gamified cybersecurity competition, PowerUp Cyber Games. This gives them the training and knowledge for a career right out of high school. They don't necessarily need to even study at a university or a college if they play the cyber games and excel at them, because they're learning the same tools, skills, and knowledge as a cyber pro. And this will make them invaluable to future employers. So our monthly competition is called a CTF, or a Capture the Flag. And no, it's not the same Capture the Flag that you played as a child on the playground. This is a puzzle-based game where players encounter various scenarios that require their cyber skills, tools, and knowledge in order to solve. And each time a player answers a question, they receive points relative to the difficulty of the question. So there's lots of different levels of difficulty within the gaming platform. The players are provided with files, applications, images, etc., and they use security tools to perform tasks like breaking encrypted messages, identifying data breaches, and finding weaknesses in computer systems and networks. Something to note, the players compete at their own pace. It's not a head-to-head competition. So this is just a fun but challenging way to learn cybersecurity. So after all of that, I'm sure you're wondering, what do I do to sign up? How do I join the cyber games? So I put in the group chat my email address and the website where you can go to register and get more information. But the website is www.wecyberup.org/inspire-youth/ and then you can choose the student option, teacher option, parent, or volunteer. And we are still looking for volunteers. So if you are interested in being a volunteer with us in the fall, please email that PowerUp email address and let me know, and I'll get that process started with you. So in terms of registering the student for the games, the student has to obtain parental consent first. Then the parent will pay for the registration, and they receive an email with next steps. Once those next steps are completed, then we send all of the information over to Franz and his people at Cyber Skyline, and they send an email to the players and the teachers to give them access to the gaming platform. Our competition is going to run from November through April, with October being a preparatory month for just study, and May being a celebratory month where we're going to have some sort of party and celebration to celebrate the end of the cyber games season. There is the opportunity for teams to have volunteers. So if you happen to be interested in having a team, but you're not a cybersecurity expert, we can help find a volunteer for you that is a cybersecurity professional. We call these people navigators because they're helping to navigate the world of cybersecurity competitions or capture the flag competitions. So in terms of practice, we suggest about 4 hours a week. Seems to be pretty good for most teams and individuals, and that can be done during school and after school, just after school, just on the weekend, whatever schedule your school can make work. We can work with you guys. And the competitions themselves, we have a 3-day window each month, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And each team or individual that's competing picks a 3-hour block of time. And within that 3-hour block of time, they compete. And that is their competition time. So that's why I said earlier that the competitors are not going head to head necessarily. They're competing at their own pace. So for some of them, it'll take 30 minutes to an hour maybe to do some of these challenges. And for other groups, it might take all 3 hours. But either way, it's a great way for students to learn basic cybersecurity skills, tools, and knowledge. And now I would like to open it up to questions.
Okay, Mike, you just said something about pay the fee. What are the fees?
So for early registration, which goes until August 1st, it's $200 per person, whether you're an individual or on a team. And then the regular registration, which goes through October 9th, is going to be $250 a person, whether you're on a team or an individual.
Okay, thank you.
Someone had a question to type it into the chat box. That's what I'm doing right now.
What would be some advice that maybe you or Franz would give to a teacher or somebody who'd be listening of a good starting point of how to get my kids interested or where to start for this?
What do you think, Franz?
Well, I think if you're a teacher, definitely just see what your student's interest level is in cybersecurity. I think from there, there are kind of some free resources available where they can start learning about cybersecurity. That might be a good introduction to them in terms of learning and participating in these types of competitions. So there are a lot of free resources out there. If you use something like Pico CTF out of Carnegie Mellon, it's a pretty good introduction for students into this space of CTFs. And then from there, there's not as much guidance in terms of how to learn. And so that might be something where if that's what your students are interested in doing, the CyberUp games is probably the next step for them to continue that pathway.
Yeah, I would say just like Franz, just Googling stuff and just getting a general sense of cybersecurity, maybe looking at Wikipedia, what Wikipedia has to say, and follow some of those links in the Wikipedia page. Also, there's the government entity NIST, N-I-S-T, that has a framework that any person or company can follow to be cyber secure. So while it's not fun reading, it is very informative. So that would be something that a student could start taking a look at as well. Who else has questions?
I mean, I'll ask for those that are on here. What are things you're currently doing with your students or classroom to get them interested in learning about technology and IT career fields.
Sorry, I'm typing something.
I don't know if everybody was present when I answered this question before, but we're a middle school who has a 2-hour after-school enrichment program 4 days a week. And we had coding through code.org last year. And in the spring, we had cybersecurity with volunteers from Scott Air Force Base helping us. And we used a program from pbs.org, and then there was something else which I can't remember the name of it, but it was like online puzzles and things like that. And we actually were just a few weeks into it when the pandemic shut us down, but have kids that are interested.
Yeah, and then just answering Jason's question in the chat. So, you know, this PowerUp Cyber Games is a part of a partnership. So Franz and the Cyber Skyline folks do support National Cyber League, which does a great job at collegiate level competition. So if you are, as you're getting programs started for college and universities, I would definitely look at National Cyber League as a great way to get them introduced to competitions. The idea for us to partner with them is that we want to get in front of students earlier, right? So as you're referencing working with middle school students, the sooner we can get into and interest students in middle school and high school, then we can help universities increase participation in students, and then also continue to have that competition going on with National Cyber League. So it's a great continuum of services. You know, and I know Mike alluded to our mission is really being centered around a pipeline. You know, for us at CyberUp, we believe that pipeline starts, you know, even as early as elementary school. And we're trying to find ways to plug in gaps between middle school, high school, and also providing tools that teach in the absence of maybe curriculum or classes that a school would be able to provide, but tools and resources they could do and after school programs are incorporated into those type of classes that way. But National Cyber League would be a great resource if you are at the university level.
Thank you, Tony.
I have a question about the apprenticeship program. Now, were you guys formerly Midwest Cybersecurity, or is that you're shaking your head? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you use to screen applicants for that apprenticeship program?
So they have to be aged 18 or older, be authorized to work in the United States, and have a high school diploma or GED to enter the program. Then once they're in the program, we do an interview with them and have them take some basic skills assessment tests to make sure that they're capable of doing a job in cybersecurity. And then the interview itself is to get to know them personally. So when an opportunity arises for an apprenticeship at a local company, we have the right culture fit and the right personality fit for that position.
So the basic skills that you're looking at as a math teacher, I'm interested in the math. How do you, what do you use to, and what kind of level of math would lead to success on your basic skills tests? I'm thinking of high school level math.
How do you want to take that one? I don't know too much about our tests.
I know that there's, especially in the world of code and different languages, there's a idea and concept that math is always important. So that's not a dig of math, but I don't know that it would be as critical of a skill that would be needed for the role that we have. I think it would be more towards aptitude, desire, reliability. We've shifted our assessment test to be less focused on those type of skills, but more on the technical attributes and aptitude that they would bring to the equation. And really provide them a more whole person rather than just their academic ability behind it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I think our time is almost out. Does anybody have any last questions or comments? No? Dr. James, I'm assuming you were able to see the information in the chat. Okay, perfect. Good, good. All right, well, folks, thank you so much for joining Franz and myself today. And Tony, thank you for joining us as well. I wasn't expecting to see you this morning, but always nice to have you as a presenter as well. Thank you, Franz, for joining us and informing us about Cyber Skyline and the gaming platform. And thank you to all of our participants for joining us today for this Zoom session. We hope that you will participate in the Cyber Games, and you have my email address, so you are welcome to email me at any point with any kind of questions that you might have, and I'll get right back to you. So thank you guys very much, and everyone have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
You too.